Our top story today from thegatewaypundit.com, reports of Joe Biden having a medical emergency on Air Force One as Democrats scramble to replace him appear to be inaccurate. Elon Musk responds. We have so much to uncover here on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and welcome back to the Week in Review, where we cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours in around 10 minutes. Our top story today from Jordan Conradson reports from thegatewaypundit.com. It turns out that as Democrats scramble for an excuse to remove Joe Biden from the 2024 presidential ticket following his horrendous debate performance, it was reported on Friday evening that Joe Biden suffered some kind of medical emergency. However, there was no confirmation of this, and unfortunately for the Democratic Party, it appears to be inaccurate. Newsmax's Monica Crowley reported on X, Biden is reportedly having a medical emergency aboard Air Force One. Elon Musk responded to a repost by Senator Mike Lee, trolling the Biden regime by adding, "That's just every flight these days." Now, One America News Network's Chanel Ryan appeared to cast doubt on the allegations, noting it's unclear the sourcing of this. Press pool traveling with him just reported that they have arrived with the president's motorcade on his home. Reports that Biden is experiencing a medical emergency are unclear, the sourcing of this, but press pool traveling with him just reported they have arrived with the president's motorcade at his home. Per Raw News, however, Biden landed back in Delaware around 7:30 this evening and is now at home in Wilmington. Now, where did this report originate from? Many are saying it came from journalist Laura Loomer, while Laura Loomer stands by her source, saying her source was reliable. But was there a medical emergency, and is this a cover-up, or is this more just hopeful thinking? And I say that because many on the left want Biden to die so that he can be replaced with somebody else, like Kamala, who may resign, then be replaced by somebody else. And there were people on the right who just want him to die because they hate him. Either way, I think there's a lot more lies here than there is truth, which reminds you to stay clear of lies. I joked about it on my other podcast. I was just like, Joe Biden's dead. And then it's just people like, really? I was like, no, it's just, I read it on Facebook, and that's how rumors spread. But I find a little humor in how quickly people believe BS. But be careful, my friends. Our next story. Well, Joe Biden doesn't want to let go of power. She's lashing out at those who want Dementia Joe to step aside. Colin Linebarger reports. Joe Biden's attempt to calm the waters following his debate debacle last week has gone horribly wrong, with his poll numbers completely collapsing and Democrats abandoning his sinking ship daily. Biden's interview with Clinton crony George Stephanopoulos did not fare much better. Either he was confused and made multiple delusional remarks throughout. However, despite countless calls from Democrat donors and elected officials for Biden to leave the race, he and his family remain defiant. His chief enabler and handler, Jill Biden, has proved particularly intractable. ABC's Martha Raddatz explained to Stephanopoulos Friday evening that administration officials are telling her that Biden's tight inner circle says he can still win and needs to continue. She further revealed that Jill is going off on people demanding that he drop out of the race. This includes his wife, Jill, who is lashing out at those who want him to get out of the race, she said. You can watch more of the clips there. As the Gateway Pundit reported, Jill has reportedly been the primary driving force to ensure Dementia Joe does not think about quitting. That goes on to say that, as we've thought this entire time, that Dr. Jill Biden was just this nice side character in the fight against, liberal democracy, and in the supporting her husband as he got elected in 2020. Turns out it may be a much more nefarious positioning, and she may be the one running the country with Barack Obama. I'd love to know your thoughts. Speaking of that, more news on the front of thegatewaypundit.com. The internet actually went wild as Biden's speech in Wisconsin sparks meme frenzy, saying, "I'm gonna come," in the Overflow room. Jim Hoff reports, "I'm hoping nobody's coming in any Overflow rooms in the public." But Joe Biden spoke to a small crowd in Wisconsin at a middle school gymnasium on Friday. After his campaign speech ended, Joe Biden shook hands with several audience members. Notice how they always look so shocked when they meet old Joe. Then Joe went back to the microphone and gleefully told the small audience, "I'm going to come in the Overflow room." Keep those pants zipped up, Joe. Your granddaughter isn't anywhere around. Social media platforms were soon flooded with memes. People were talking. Drew Hernandez said, "I'm going to come in the Overflow room," and obviously misspelled it to be something much more derogatory. "We are so cooked." It goes on to say even more, as there was other reactions which are not located here. People were saying, "This is just ridiculous. Why is our president trying to inseminate an Overflow room? Seems like this guy cannot keep his things where they belong." They say, right, keep your genes in your jeans. If you don't get it, I'm not going to spend any more time explaining it. Anyway, you saw it today. Joe Biden brags about his large crowds in a middle school gym, then makes strange remarks about Trump's MAGA crowds. Jim Hoff reports. On Friday, Joe Biden flew to Wisconsin to hold another small rally in the Sherman Middle School gymnasium. The crowd was neither large or enthusiastic. Reporters made up at least 20% of the crowd. Biden's rally in Madison, Wisconsin, you can watch the video there. The enthusiasm for old Joe peaked sometime back in his 60s. After the small rally, Joe Biden sat with George Stephanopoulos for an interview that aired on Friday night. Stephanopoulos was much kinder and gentler with old Joe than he was ever with President Donald Trump. During the interview, Joe Biden strangely bragged about the size of the crowds who were coming out to see him. I know it's no surprise, Joe Biden lying, but it seems still a bit bizarre. Watch for yourself.
What's your plan to turn the campaign around?
You saw it today. How many people do you draw crowds like I drew today? You find many more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that.
He can draw a big crowd, but what's he say? Who's he have? I'm the guy supposedly.
Well, I think that history and photographs, which is this new invention we have, where people can take pictures and they post them in these little frames and they put noodles on them. Your kids put noodles on them. Those are called pictures, Joe. And we can tell what kind of crowds you're bringing, and the crowds have no energy. It reminds me a little bit of like the electrical system in South Africa after apartheid ended. Well, there's not a lot of energy to go around. I'll tell you that. Our next story from the gatewaypundit.com, disgraceful behavior. Rude elderly Biden supporter appears to berate young black woman. Then Joe Biden ignores her. We have the full story here. In a scene all too familiar with those who have witnessed the Democrats' so-called tolerance firsthand, an incident occurred at a Biden campaign event Friday night in Madison, Wisconsin. After delivering a speech to his supporters, Biden proceeded to shake hands and take selfies with several audience members. Among the crowd was a young black woman, excited and proudly holding a Biden-Harris sign. However, her moment of joy was rudely interrupted by an elderly Biden supporter who seemed visibly irritated. She appeared to breathe and the young woman and demanded that she lower her sign. To make matters worse, Biden himself added to the young woman's disappointment. Biden ignored the young woman entirely, walking past her without so much as a glance. Democrats preach unity and respect, but fail to practice what they preach. You can watch the video directly there. I'll go ahead and play it for you. I honestly do feel bad for her. She was just trying to meet the president and she got snubbed. Here's the full clip. I don't want to play the whole thing, but look at that. He walks right past her and completely ignores her. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know which way the coin flipped, but it wasn't in her favor that night. Now, if you want to get more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and follow us at The Gateway Pundit. We're on X as well as our website, thegatewaypundit.com. Drop a comment down below. What did you think about the stories today? Did you have any feedback for me? I'd love to hear your comments on all the above. Don't forget to like the video. And as always, this is Elijah Schaffer reporting for the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.